looking at marginalized or historically underrepresented groups, and then creating a program or an experience that will allow them to get a sample of what it would look like if they were to enter the field of student affairs.
Our mentees are given an array of opportunities and experiences ranging from attending multiple professional conferences, meeting various campus partners, learning about theory.
I just jumped in and I was like, okay, no matter what happens, their learning outcomes align with my values so much that I'm bound to learn something. So I just dove right in, and luckily I was accepted. And it turned out to be the pivot in what I want to do with my future career.
Primary responsibilities or learning outcomes that they need are presentation, research, written and oral communications. It's really to see about developing them as young professionals, as young adults, and hopefully opening the door for them to then gain valuable experience.
So we developed plans not only for the NUFP program, but also for my career. And so I was able to know that after graduate school, I would like to go into residential life. And then after that, depending on the exposure that I get, I either want to work with student services or work with survivors of interpersonal violence.
Throughout our meetings, we would talk about different topics in student affairs or things that she had questions about or possibilities about internships.
So really just getting her introduced to the field, getting her to conferences. She went to 2 conferences this year, and so kind of mentoring her through that was a big goal of mine, but also for her kind of learning what was out there for her within functional areas.
We focused a lot on making sure that I understood my capabilities, my interests, my values, exploring myself a lot more, and actually she really helped me more so than anything feeling more confident in my work.
One of the goals we created when we started was to try to figure out what areas she wanted to learn about. She didn't understand what student affairs was, but she knew she wanted to make an impact in the lives of others, and she loved learning about leadership.
They get assigned to a different area within student affairs to do a research project in the spring. And so that gives them exposure to maybe a field that they were in as an undergrad and they were interested in, and then they do this project, and now they get to go to NASPA, the annual conference, and talk to other people who are doing similar work, but very different depending on the institution.
We're still able to hold that strong relationship, and I think that kind of community is rare, and I personally wouldn't want to go anywhere else. Like, I feel like I belong, which is something that as a woman of color, I'm not entirely used to saying.
She was actually the one who kind of expressed that she wanted to get involved with survivor advocacy services, staff on campus. Both students reached out to other universities and CSUs and gathered information on how they inform staff and faculty about services on campus for survivors.
I know that I was very familiar with working with undocumented students and working in recreational life. But really, I wasn't familiar with working with students who are survivors of interpersonal violence, but now it's an area that I would really like to go into. So you just never know what you're going to gain from this program.
Thinking about my career and how important it was to have mentors, I was able to kind of see different paths I was able to take. So I think the importance of mentorship and being able to provide guidance to a student is hugely important.
Kind of having that guided assistance from NASPA as a whole, but also the institution. I think that's something that's going to be very rewarding for those students who are even considering and going to student affairs or higher education as a whole.
It is incredibly, incredibly worth joining. I think I've had an incredibly positive experience all around. I really have, no complaint except that I'm only here for 2 years.